episode. Gas Network presents sports for the culture.
I'm here with the family.
Bryce XXV, Double I,
Rome.
D-Malo,
Gruff Lion.
T-Buggy, man.
To the greatest sports show on the planet, La Familia. Hope y'all ready for a ride.
Can't wait to hear what you guys got to say.
Ooh, what's good, world? This is Gas Presents Sports for the Culture. Ooh, look like I'm having a little camera issue. There we go. I'm back. Y'all can see me. Here we go. Hey, this is Gas Presents Sports for the Culture, and I'm excited this week. I'm back. I feel like I've been gone for a long time. I know y'all missed my face a little bit. I hope you missed my face. But I'm ready to have a good show, man. It's been some good sports news. March Madness, big stuff. Cam talking, but calling people randoms. No, we got a lot of topics we want to cover, but. Before we get into anything, let me introduce the guest, man. I'm gonna go top left, man.
See, I don't even want to harp on that shit, but yo, imagine if I came on the show, so I'm better than these four randoms. You know what I'm saying? How that gonna make you feel? How that's gonna make you feel? I'm Scruff Lion. I'm better than these four randoms. It's like, nah, I would never say that, man. That's bad for the team chemistry. All these fellas is they good at what they do to some extent, and I'm pretty good too, man. I just came out my darkness retreat, my cave, and I'm ready to get into I'm ready to get into some good topics, dog. What you talking about?
Hey, I hear you, man. Hey, but sometimes the people do be random. Sometimes they do. Maybe some folks out there that agree with Cam, but I'm a top right, man.
One of the ways, Viva Mexico! We almost won the shit, but we lost to the Japanese, man. But besides that, hello, fellas. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I'm just mad that Usman fucked up, man. He could have won. Could have won the belt, brought it back to the States. And he lost, gave up the fight, in my opinion. And the British bastards still have it over there on the other side, man. But overall, man, the UFC gave us another great weekend of enjoyment. I love combat sports. I just can't wait for Ryan and Tank to fight. That's in like in a month from now?
So they say that's gonna be a good one, man. I think the world's with you. I think everybody's waiting on that Tank fight, man. It's not a topic on the show, but early prediction. Who you got?
I don't like neither of them, but if I had to put my money on somebody, I'm gonna put my money on the man with the heavier hand. That so far is Tank.
Tank. Okay.
Tank. That's Adesanya. That's the same guy.
Nah,
No, that's.
Never mind.
And last but not least, my guy with the Washington shirt on, man. Bottom left.
Hey, man, you know who it is? Your boy Young Rome 22 on all socials. Hit that like button, that follow button, all that. You got a packed show for you tonight. Lots of March Madness to get into. But, I had to wear the Washington shirt because, we got that big sale coming up soon. It's like Christmas for me over here, for all Washington fans. I know Bryce somewhere, he would agree with me right now, man. Once Daniel Snyder officially sells this team, which is coming soon, it will be a happy, happy day in Washington. There might be a parade.
A happy day in Washington when the Commanders are on sale, man. I hope they buy the team and move them to Richmond. You know what I'm saying? But I'm happy, man. The Commanders fans been saying they need Dan gone since forever. So looks like the wish is finally coming true for a lot of Washingtonians. A lot of Washington fans in general. What? What was the ATL right now? Randoms. I can understand that. I don't know if that Darnold was a random, but I see where you're going with it. But let's jump into the biggest sport event that's going on right now, and arguably the best playoffs of any sport. Period, man. That March Madness. And anybody got a bracket that's not busted? I'm gonna think you're lying if you tell me your bracket not busted at this point. But I guess we could jump into how them brackets got busted, man. March Madness. Purdue getting knocked off in the first round. A number one seed losing to Fairleigh Dickinson, man. What's everybody? Purdue and Zach Edey first round exit.
Honestly, I'm not surprised at all. I'm actually a little disappointed in myself that I didn't see it coming. Because I watched plenty of Big Ten basketball. I know you're thinking that's probably hard to believe, right? I watched plenty of Big Ten basketball. I saw my squad, Rutgers, beat Purdue this season. I watched them get upset Rutgers is not ranked. Rutgers hasn't been ranked. Rutgers has beat a few top ranked teams, so I was believing in us. But I will say that we beat Purdue, so they are punkable. That's the number one trait of a number one seed that could possibly get upset. You have to be punkable. They got punked. They did not control the dictation of the tempo of the game. 3. Punked. The dude is 6, 7 foot, whatever the fuck. I know players like that. T knows players like that. They're big as hell, but if you get under their underneath the little back portion of the back right there, they don't know what to do. They're not used to that kind of aggressive type of play. They can get punked out of the games. I've seen bigs do it. He's a great example. And I never was really that keen on him. Because to me, if you're that big and it takes you 4 years to get nice, you're not that nice. That's just me. But yeah, I think it's part of the program. Program has some issues there. I wouldn't be surprised if they went and fired the coach or did something to the coach. Because I'll tell you what. Nah, I mean, I'm serious. This is not the first time that they done some shit like this. Like, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you the two most punkable programs in the history of NCAA sports, at least since I've been watching it, Virginia and Purdue. You know what I'm saying? They're like literally the two most punkable teams. Like they got punked too, I think. Virginia, I think, lost to Furman. And why are you getting popped like that? And I think Virginia got popped a couple years ago as the number one seed. And Purdue stay getting popped, bro. They got popped last year, matter of fact, when they had Jaden Ivey.
Yeah.
Looking at Jaden Ivey like, damn, cuz you're supposed to be an NBA player. So like they got punked with Jaden Ivey. What you mean they ain't gonna get punked with this little punk baby Yao Ming over there? Get the fuck out of here. So I saw that shit coming. I'm just mad I didn't bet on it.
Baby Yao. So being punked, that's the number one upset stat. If you're punkable. Okay. I actually can feel that, man. G, what's
they gonna punk Alabama. That boy gonna pull that strizzy.
Brandon Miller, he gonna pass the blicky. But
hey, yo.
G, what you think about, man? All these upsets, man. Purdue, UVA, Arkansas, Arizona.
It's like what
in general. So
it's like what Nick said. Yeah, sometimes you seen it happen and you just don't want to believe it until March Madness, and you're just like, wow, I could have put money on this. Like the one with Princeton. Like so far, the last 2 years, Jersey schools. Shout out to Jersey. They've been the upset kings, man. The upset state. Look at the Princeton. Princeton with the upset. Freddie Dickinson with another upset. I don't know, man. This is why we love March Madness, man. It drives every gambler fucking insane. How many tickets I haven't lost this weekend, man? I lost like over $30 already. I'm kind of like sad. I thought I could make a quick come up, pay some rent off, pay my car loan off, pay my insurance, and be like, yeah, I did it. Nah, instead, I'm still in the hole.
Look, I
fucking hate it.
I'm right there with you. I tried to outsmart the system, and I said every number one should win, except Purdue. I didn't have faith in Purdue, so I bet on every number one and every number two to win, and I still lost. Arizona loses. Like,
oh my god, and that's a big one. And can someone tell me why do we have faith in Arizona? They always had like a decent squad, and they always fuck it up.
Well, I can't say nothing definitively bad about them, but they didn't do much that impressed me this year. So
Arizona's living off the name of the Lute Olson era, and I think you look at Arizona as a big-time basketball program, and they are. It's a lot of talent in Arizona as far as basketball, but like they just can't get it done in March Madness the last couple of years. So I don't know. Ron, what you think about this March Madness, man? How your bracket look?
Oh man, my bracket looks crazy, dude. March Madness got to be the most appropriate name thing in all the sports. Maybe the most appropriate name thing just in general, because like, has anybody ever had a bracket that actually hits? Like, I know people that predict winners, but do you have a bracket that actually like looks like how it goes? Because if you're telling me that you had Princeton and I mean, y'all are saying like you saw Purdue losing and all that, but like, did you see the other team winning? Like, that's what I have a hard time believing is seeing some of these smaller schools actually getting the job done. I hear you, Scruff. I actually love your analogy on how upsets can happen, and a team being punkable is probably the number one thing in to recipe for an upset. But man, I have a hard time believing in some of these Cinderella stories a lot of the time, man. Do y'all think any of these Cinderella stories could actually, make it all the way this year?
I don't think they could go all the way. That's the thing. I think Cinderellas can go for a run. I think going all the way is like that's hard to do. Like, thing about Cinderella is Cinderella went to the ball, she had a good time and then she got her little glass slip and she had her little moment. You feel me? So these Cinderellas, they're gonna have their moment, but Cinderella didn't get married and have kids in that same movie. You know what I'm saying? So that's not gonna happen.
Good point, man. Like, can any of these guys go all the way to the Final Four or the championship? I mean, let's look at the matchups, man. We got Princeton versus Creighton. That's 15 versus a 6. That's winnable.
That's
And
winnable
that's
for
the
Princeton.
exact thought. That's the exact same thought process that I thought when Fairleigh Dickinson was playing Florida Atlantic. And I ain't gonna lie, that was actually a pretty good game. But Florida Atlantic ended up getting them out the way. And they had that. You see that dunk? Like
Nah,
try to do the windmill and shit. Nah, all right, never mind.
I
The
see.
dude from Florida Atlantic, they was up like 5 or something. I don't know what they was up, and then dude try to finish the game with a windmill. Like, bro, just go roll it out, bro.
I'm all for the showmanship. I love to see that type of stuff. What about Florida Atlantic? They got Tennessee.
Oof.
No.
Tennessee knocked off Duke convincingly. So,
They
all
I'll
did,
right,
they
take
did, they
Tennessee.
did,
all right.
they did.
My one of my favorite coaches, period, in college basketball history, Tom Izzo. Man, you could get this guy, a couple guys from Foot Locker, a couple guys from LA Fitness, and one guy that transferred out of a D3, and he's going to get you in the tournament and win a few games. Michigan State, man, it knocked off number 2 Marquette. I really thought Marquette would win. I love Shaka Smart, but Tom Izzo is proved himself to be the master, man. And Michigan State versus Kansas State, who knocked off Kentucky. So, what do y'all think? Cinderella.
I'm gonna go like you said, the proven commodity. Let's go with Michigan State on this one.
Michigan State over Kansas State. Kansas
Yeah.
State it's a tough road for Michigan State. The other side of the bracket, man, the Midwest and the West, it's not too many huge upsets. I don't think anybody had Miami getting this far. And shout out to Miami, man. I got a former co-worker that I used to work with. Her son plays for the U. Anthony Walker. He's a dog. So I know a lot of my old co-workers are rooting for Miami, but they're going against Houston. I can't see it happening, but Houston's going to the championship in my bracket, but I'd love to see them knock Houston off just for personal reasons. But who do y'all think is going to win this whole thing? Gonzaga's still left. Texas, Arkansas. I mean, Alabama. Who's played well so far?
I mean, I picked Houston to win it all when I filled out my bracket. I'm definitely riding with Houston. Although I would love to see Miami with the upset, man. I'm a fan of the U. I like the U, the school in general. So that would be a wild upset that would fit March Madness in the way it goes.
Yeah, Isaiah Wong, remember this name. He's playing himself into the NBA draft. I know he was probably late second round undrafted, but I think he's working his way up into maybe late first round if Miami can keep going. But yeah, I'm kind of with you. Like Houston's tough. Alabama, you know what I'm saying? Some say they got killers on the team. I don't know. But I actually think Alabama's playing some really good basketball. Arkansas, man, like I watched Arkansas knock off Kansas, 8 beating a 1 seed. Did anybody see that game? Okay.
Wait, which one?
Arkansas.
Arkansas versus Kansas.
Yeah.
I was watching that game. I had money on Arkansas. I was watching that game very intensively.
I walked out of that game feeling like the guy Walsh. If you haven't seen Arkansas, I don't know his first name. Last name's Walsh. Bald head guy, bro. He is a defensive genius, man. He hounds players. Like I could see him playing at the next level just because he can stop a guy, man. Like Bruce Bowen on our site. Like I can put him on the best defender and he'll slow him down. But it's a lot of good basketball. Anybody believe Gonzaga can make a run?
I mean, that's
Yeah.
the joint I had the hardest time picking right there between Gonzaga and UCLA, and I'll tell you why. Because ever since the boy from UCLA with the crazy looking haircut has been on that squad, yeah, they've been a tough squad, bro. They've advanced pretty far every year, bro, and so is Gonzaga though. That's why this is really hard to pick.
I mean, I feel like what's his name, Drew Timme. I feel like he's been in college for 10 years, man.
Man, you ain't lying there, bro.
With Adam Morrison.
Oh shit! I
That
didn't see
might
the bottom half of this bracket.
that might be the best matchup.
That's the hardest one to pick right there.
Yeah,
Like,
I think that's gonna be
real.
the best game for real.
I have a hard time. I picked Gonzaga in my bracket, but I don't know.
That one's
UCLA.
I can say this, man. It's no more easy games from here on out for any of these programs. Alabama and Houston might be the only teams that can steamroll a team from here on out. But this is the best time of year, man, for basketball, man. And I don't know about you guys, but am I the only person that plays March Madness every day in March? Like I
What do you mean plays March Madness? The song?
Yeah, I play the song every day. Like
I haven't played it since March 1st, and maybe that's why maybe I need to play it. It hasn't been marching enough.
Like
I need more March in my March Madness. Yeah.
Like March Madness, that's the closest thing we got to a Negro spiritual, man. I gotta bump that.
I feel it.
Hey, anything else on college basketball, March Madness?
How crazy would it be if an Ivy League school goes to the Final Four?
It's not gonna happen.
Man, the way this bracket is going, I wouldn't even be surprised anymore. But no, actually, no, I would. Man. To see Princeton out there running their little cuts and back doors and playing smart basketball, trying to outsmart their way to the chip, like that would be cool, though. That would be cool. That would put some respect on the Ivy League as a program.
Right.
I mean, they got a chance. They could advance. That's the thing. Is like I think the Cinderella, the Sweet 16. But I think if you go beyond the Sweet 16, that's tough to do. Who's
the last like legit pro that came out of Ivy League?
Don't know any.
Basketball or football?
Fitzpatrick went to Harvard, right?
Fitzpatrick, yeah, that's the only one I can think of.
Didn't Andrew Luck go to Harvard? Didn't Andrew Luck go to Stanford?
That's not.
That's not Ivy League though.
I thought that was considered an Ivy League school.
Nah, it's rigorous academically, but it's not Ivy League.
Oh wow.
Jeremy
Lin, but he didn't get drafted though.
Right.
That's wild.
Wait, that's not being racist. We're not being racist right
now. your thoughts, man.
Not racist.
My bad. I mean, is it racist or prejudice? I can't. Whatever.
All right. Before I move on, before I leave college, I'm gonna ask that anybody see the clip that I think Chris might have sent it in the chat with Gilbert Arenas talking about the transfer portal.
No, I didn't see it.
No, I see.
Basically, Gilbert was saying, the transfer portal has hurt the high school senior. Like you have less of an opportunity. I don't know how the good mister rolled that into college is over, but what I took from that is a coach does not have to pick a high school senior anymore. I can go get a adult male that's played 2 to 3 years of college basketball and has proven stats now, instead of waiting on this guy to pick my school out of a hat. You know what I'm saying?
How?
Okay. But we can say that for a later day or later topic. I guess the other news, at least it's on my mind, is Cam Newton, man. Cam Newton.
See, this is why he parlayed that, because literally the title says NCAA basketball is doomed. They fled right into the fraud propaganda.
Yeah, they did. Good company, man, reads and watches all the training videos. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't fall for it. But so what do y'all feel about your boy Cam Newton, man? Rome, I know I know Cam Newton's one of your favorite players, man. He's back out here. The last time he's made this much ruckus was when that kid called him, said he was ass or something, right?
Yeah.
That was a long ago. Why are you trying to Cat Williams, my guy, man? Trying to put him in that
Nah,
Cat
that's
Williams
literally
category.
that's literally the only thing I was thinking about. What we were thinking about, I was like thinking about the last time we talked about that joint when the homeboy called him ass, right? He
Yeah.
said, "You ass, Cam."
But Cam's out here saying that these other NFL players, he's calling NFL starters randoms. How do you feel about that, Rome? That's your guy. I'll let you speak on his behalf.
I mean, look, you gotta have the confidence, man. Like I think the big thing with Cam is people can't handle the personality. They can't handle the swagger. Like it's always, too much. It's always, is it right for the locker room? Is it right for somebody's QB room and all this? And my thing is, how many QBs do we see in the league right now that have had issues? Marcus Mariota walked out on the team. He just signed to the Eagles to be their backup. When he lost his starting job, he wasn't a happy camper. Um, Dude that was in Cam's draft, Andy Dalton. He just signed a deal to be a backup. So you're telling me Cam's resume doesn't match up to Andy Dalton's? I just think the only reason that Cam has to go through what he has to go through is because of the antics, the personality, and I think it's a shame because it's not like the man gets himself in trouble. It's not like he has a Antonio Brown type of off the field resume or something like that. But I think it's because of his personality and who he is that people try to put him in this certain category, and I just think it's unfair.
Okay. Is it a possibility that silly font that he writes in is creating a communication barrier between him and organization?
Dumb.
That joint looking like what? That joint looking like wingdings. You know what I'm talking about? I was like, what is this man talking about, bro?
So,
Let me jump in on this though.
All right, yeah, go ahead.
Let me jump in on this though, Rome, because I got a problem with Cam Newton and the way he carried him about this situation. This guy just didn't get the fucking memo, bro. Like, did you not get the memo, Cam Newton, bro? All right, you didn't play all last season. Nobody wanted to sign you. There were many teams, 49ers included, that could have picked up a quarterback. They'd rather roll with a Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, than Mr. Relevant, because you're relevant for the wrong reasons, Cam Newton. You're on the air talking to Brittany Renner about that was the last time we were talking about Cam Newton, actually, what he was saying, oh, you need to you're not a woman, but you don't know how to cook. You don't know how to cook, baby. Yeah, I remember that, Cam Newton. I didn't forget about that, Cam Newton. That's the problem with Cam Newton, bro. Every time he opens his mouth, he's the stock. He's sinking the ship. He's making a problem. First of all, we don't need anybody who has regular conversation with Brittany Renner on YouTube over here in our locker room. One. Second thing is, you went the whole season without getting signed last year, and you just compared him to a guy that just signed as a backup, Marcus Mariota. Great example. I'm glad you brought him up. The Eagles signed him. I think that's a great signing. I've never heard Marcus Mariota speak out loud, and if I did, it wasn't memorable. I've heard him speak, but it wasn't memorable. But I'll tell you one thing: I've heard Cam Newton speak, and trust me, it was very memorable. And trust me, I know plenty of people.
All right,
I know people that literally would be disgusted. Cam Newton. Oh, what up?
You know who else I've heard speak? And it sounded very ignorant multiple times? Was Jameis Winston. I saw that man eat his own fingers while giving a speech to pump the team up. And this man's on a roster. He just signed a big contract. He missed the 30 for 30. So what is your point? So Cam Newton can't be a backup quarterback in the NFL because he's Cam Newton?
Differentiate the levels of goofiness, right? We're talking about here. Cam Newton is alienating women. He's alienated now 32 starting quarterbacks.
He's alienating women because he had a woman come on his podcast to discuss the relationships between a man and a woman. You wouldn't allow Brittany Renner to come on this very podcast and have that same type of conversation?
I'm smelling her seat, but
maybe I would, but I mean, I wouldn't alienate. I wouldn't bring her on to alienate and all this. But I'm just saying. But
all right, since Cam Newton is irrelevant, since Cam Newton is
It's not about
irrelevant,
me.
no, it's not about you. You're right. Let's put it on a more relevant player who's going through a very similar situation. Why don't we talk about OBJ real quick? Because the last time I think we talked about him, he was getting kicked off a plane for being disrespectful. They're out here saying that he wants 20 million or something. He's tweeting saying that he didn't want that. So does Odell get to be on a team, or is he wrong for the locker room? Is his personality going to be too big and too toxic for an NFL locker room?
No, no, you're reaching because we're talking about the quarterback position, bro. There's one quarterback that plays for a team, 4 or 5 receivers that can get burned on the roster, bro. It's not the same, bro. The difference is with Cam Newton is, bro, when you go out and you say 32 other quarterbacks, all these other quarterbacks is random. You basically saying fuck everybody else in the league that's a starting quarterback or that's a competitive quarterback. That's not the locker room energy that you want from your backup. And we've already
So you
established
can you
that
can
he's
have
not a
you can have
starter.
you can have big confidence if you're a wide receiver, but you can't have that confidence if you're a quarterback. It sounds a lot like
There's a difference.
When Dion was like, "Oh, I need my D linemen to be hungry. It don't matter if they got two parents, but my QBs they got to have both parents and all. Your QB needs to be a
No,
certain way, right? He's got to be like
no.
Jalen Hurts. He's got to be the quiet type. He can't have that personality.
Yo, stop shoveling that propaganda. It's got nothing to do with that. Confidence, or you can have confidence without alienating somebody else, bro. It's definitely possible. The problem
Show
with
me your
Cam
titties,
Newton's
Nick.
confidence is it brings everybody else down. That's the problem. It takes away from everybody else. You can be great without having to take away from somebody else, bro, without having to put someone else down in the process. I wasn't a big fan of his little comment today. I thought that was very unbecoming of somebody that wants a roster spot. That's what he should be happy with, a roster spot. The shit he's talking about, he should go to the XFL.
G, whose side you on in this debate?
In this god awful debate about a guy that should be a backup or at least play for Carolina once again. I
He's
mean,
not talking like a backup. When's the last time Andy Dalton was talking spicy like that?
Andy Dalton just started last season. So you're
he
telling me that
did.
He ain't no
you're
starter
telling me
though.
that
He ain't no starter
Andy
though.
Dalton deserves a shot, but Cam Newton, because he's Cam Newton, doesn't deserve a shot. It's like Bryce said. If Carson Wentz ends up signing to a team as toxic as he's been reported to be in locker rooms and as terrible as he's been, then I don't understand how we can make all these reasons for Cam Newton to not be on a roster. But it's okay for anybody in any other position to act a fool or be loud or have a big personality, just not the quarterback.
G, what's your take, G?
You know what? I'm all about people getting paid, so I'm gonna go with Cam on this one. I still don't believe there's 32 quarterbacks that are that much better than Cam Newton. I think I think shit the Commanders need one, but I get why teams don't want to sign until the Cam Newton because it's just like, yo, can he fit into the organization? Do players want to follow him? Do coaches want to deal with his shit? Some coaches don't want to deal with him shit. Some coaches, hey, why not? Look at Ron Rivera could have used Cam Newton this year. He chose
The
not to go
same,
back to that route.
the same
You
reasonings
know?
that people use for Cam to not be a backup are the same reasonings they're using to not pay Lamar his money.
I was gonna okay. So glad.
What?
Hold on.
What? How?
Bro,
There's a difference. There's a difference now.
hold on,
What?
hold on, hold on. Uh, Glad Ron brought that up, right? Because we've seen Lamar Jackson's situation, right? We see Trey Lance's situation. We see the situation that Cam Newton is in. Could any of this be tied to race?
No.
In regards to what?
No.
In regards to Cam Newton?
In regards to a black quarterback having to be better, be just the level of accountability that they're held to versus some of
Okay,
their
actually,
white.
you know what? I won't say race isn't a factor. I won't say race isn't a factor because that would be ignorant of me to say that race isn't a factor. Race is definitely a factor. I'm more so speaking on this because I just know the reason I'm so definitive about Cam Newton because I just know the way it is, and maybe that makes me a status quo pusher. I don't think so, but I just know the
No,
way it
I'm
is.
gonna I'm gonna say race is not a factor on this one because if you think about it, right, this quarterbacks that get paid. Look at Deshaun Watson. Race is not a factor on that man. You know what should have been a factor? His charges that were coming from Texas, and that shit wasn't a factor. A fucking organization came through and said, "Man, we'll give you full guarantee, not just any kind of full guarantee contract. We gave you over 2 million guaranteed contract." Look, so I don't think race is a factor. I think it's more of character. The character is a factor in the situation, and I think that's the only reason why Cam is not getting picked up. And as a regard for Lamar Jackson is that's it's just
See,
him trying to
okay. So
negotiate something.
this is why race is a factor in this situation, and I literally just realized this. Because G, you're right, right? So on the surface, you would say race isn't a factor because of the Deshaun Watson deal, and that's what I would think too. But how many quarterbacks that aren't black that have big personalities, go on darkness retreats, smoke cigars in the locker room after big wins? There's been plenty of non-black quarterbacks that have had big personalities. Joe Namath wearing a fur coat on the sideline, like it's not like it's new for a quarterback to be the talk of the town. Jimmy G going on a date with porn stars. He's a good culture fit
Oh,
for the Raiders.
come on
It's
now.
not new for quarterbacks to have big personalities, but when a Cam Newton does it, when a Lamar Jackson is seen on the sideline wearing chains, when certain quarterbacks have certain personalities, it seems to be to the detriment of their bank account somehow. Because again, these aren't quarterbacks with criminal charges or that mess stuff up off the field. These are just quarterbacks with big personalities. And it goes back to what Deion Sanders said about two-parent households and quarterbacks being a certain way. It's not just Dion. It's everybody. When you think of a quarterback, you want him to act a certain way, be a certain way. You don't want Trey Lance in the strip club taking pictures with his hurt ankle. You don't want to see Lamar with all his chains taking pictures with Kodak Black or whatever he may be doing. That those are the things you want from the face of your franchise. That's not what these owners are looking for. And it seems to me that the bar moves when it's a Joe Burrow smoking a cigar as opposed to a Lamar wearing chains. So that's my
Wait,
take
wait,
on that.
wait. How's Lamar Jackson getting in trouble for hanging around with a suburban dude Kodak Black? I
Hey, that's
thought
for you.
I
That's
I
for you
I,
to determine. If you don't,
I thought
if
Kodak
you
Black
think
was
all
suburban dude.
if you think all 32 owners like the image of their face of their franchise chilling with guys like Kodak Black, that's up for you to determine, G. Because I don't think the Giants owners would necessarily be cool with that. You don't really see Daniel
What you
Jones
mean? What you
going out
mean?
like that.
Uncle Trumpito just parting Kodak Black not too long ago. I'm rocking with Kodak Black. Who not rocking with Kodak Black? Hey, yo, but on the side note, yo, hold it down, Uncle Trumpito. I hope you know what I mean? Hold it down. Hold that water, Uncle Trumpito. I'm riding with you. We got this.
Oh man. G, you said it's not a race issue.
I
Rome,
don't think it's a racist.
You think it is a race issue, and Scruff, Scruff, you're saying it is, but that's not the culprit here.
Not for Cam Newton. You pulling that shit out your ass, bro. Cam Newton didn't play the
Pause!
last the
Pause!
last
Pause!
the last time
Text!
Cam Newton
Don't
played
text!
the last time Cam Newton played football, he was mid, bro.
I,
Pause!
He didn't throw double-digit touchdowns.
I'm inclined to agree. Now that I've heard all the takes, I'm inclined to agree with Scruff here. Race is certainly an issue. I think the bar is we know the bar is different for a black quarterback, but at the same time, he did. What do we expect out of a number two quarterback? He doesn't even seem like he wants to be a backup. But what's the role of a backup quarterback on a team?
Sit the fuck down and just help the main quarterback win.
Hold the clipboard, support the starter.
Lord.
Is Cam
Thank
Newton
you.
is Cam Newton who you want behind Sam Howell?
I don't.
Hell no.
I think that's for the coach and teams to determine, man. Like, is Jameis Winston who you want behind somebody? Is like that. That's what I mean. Like, what are we determining makes a good backup quarterback? The same qualities that make a good starting quarterback, because those are the same qualities that are hurting Lamar Jackson's deal. Like I said,
One thing I know for sure that people don't want from their backup quarterback is to create a quarterback controversy, right? Because if you put a former MVP behind a guy that starts struggling, what do the fans say after a few losses? Take
Put
them
in
out.
Cam or some shit, I guess. I don't know.
Play Cam. You put
Hey,
Cam.
well, let me put it to you like this, T. If your starter can't beat out an aging Cam Newton who suffered a bunch of injuries, then your starter ain't it, and you need to start over.
That's not
If you
true.
if your number two quarterback is outplaying your starter, then you have a problem.
That's not true. The season before last, right? Jalen Hurts, what was that his rookie year? How many?
Sophomore year, I think.
All right. Either way, not this season. The season before last, uh, arguably Cam Newton was probably better than Jalen Hurts, right? But last season, there's no way you're going to play Jalen Hurts play Cam Newton above Jalen Hurts, right? So even if my starting quarterback can't beat out a Cam Newton today, right? Like a Sam Howell, who hasn't had much experience, that doesn't mean he's not going to grow. And
Yeah, I
having
agree.
behind him that he has to look over his shoulder will stunt your growth. If I bring somebody to your job and I say, hey man, this person used to do your job better than you, but
What you just said? You just said if he can't beat him out, then it's gonna stun his growth. So if he can't beat him out, what is he doing? He's not growing because he's on the bench.
no, that's my point. That's my point. He might not can beat him out this season, but he might can beat him out next season.
Okay, so for this season, I guess Cam should start over him while he
No,
grows on the bench. Like, what
no.
what are you saying? So he should
I'm
just start, even though he can't beat out an aging quarterback.
Yes, I'm saying you don't want to create a quarterback controversy. So you take Cam Newton off of, you don't have Cam Newton on your roster, right? Like he obviously wants to be a starter. There's obviously fans that still believe he can play and start in this league. So if you put him
T
behind it,
giving him too much credit. T, you giving him too much credit talking about he's going to compete for a start. No, he's not competing for a jack shit, bro. I'm going to tell you
That's
what.
what I'm saying. If
The last time Cam played football, bro, he started 15 games for the Patriots, bro. He had 15 starts. He had 8 touchdowns. That's less than 1 touchdown every 2 games, bro. That is below satisfactory level to play the quarterback position. I don't care if you're a rookie. Zach Wilson played better than that. He had more touchdowns than that.
I mean, I'll say Cam was
Quarterback that played something for, like, come on. Brock Purdy was able to put a touchdown up every 2 games.
Cam Newton. Cam Newton didn't play with any type of receiving talent.
Okay.
None. Not to mention every other quarterback struggled in that offense except Zappy or whatever his name was.
Okay.
Haven't heard from him either.
look, Cam Newton
That's not his
is
fault, though. Zappy should be playing for real. But
Cam Newton in 2023, regardless of what comes out of his mouth, is not a starting NFL quarterback. He's just not. If Cam Newton gets signed to a team and their starter cannot beat out Cam Newton to be the starting quarterback, that team has an issue. That's plain and simple.
I'll tell you what, Rome. I know you love the XFL. I know you love Cam Newton. I'm seeing that really Cam Newton blew the bag because he should have been doing a pro day for the XFL. He should be starting for the XFL right now. Because I'll tell you what league he could start in. He could start in the XFL. He's better than AJ McCarron. I'll give him that.
I don't think he's better than AJ McCarron, and I don't like the idea of like a Cam Newton or like Antonio Brown or OBJ. I don't like the idea of those guys going to the XFL or the USFL. I like the idea of that being more of a developmental league for young players or players that didn't really get a fair shot on a team. I think for Cam or somebody like that to go, it would just be tarnishing your legacy. Like,
No, but if you want to play football, think about it, man. He could help out those guys you were just talking about.
And that's the problem, right? If you
coach, then
want a
if you want to
job,
help out.
if you in a job, that's what you need to say. I want to help. I want to come to an organization. I just want to help out. You don't want to say you guys are playing randoms and I'll prove the whole world wrong. Like, Cam, we've heard the chip on your shoulder bit. We've heard John Wall. Was it summer of separation or something? What was John Wall's
He
nonsense?
said something.
Like, we heard Pusha T's surgical summer. Like, all you guys that keep promising this stuff. Like, hang it up, man. Hang it up.
That's what I'm saying. So Cam's not making statements that he wants to help anybody. He's making statements that he wants to be the star, that he's the man. So want to be the man? Go to the Arlington Terminators or whatever the hell the name of their team
I do think it's a shame though that we don't. Do we ever see like white quarterbacks have this type of fall from grace? Like former MVP to kind of he seems to be a laughing stock at this point. Like,
Yes, Carson Wentz. But you don't see him doing all this dumb shit.
Bro, if Carson Wentz gets signed to a team and y'all gonna sit on here and tell me that Cam doesn't deserve the chance. So, all right, Scruff, Cam doesn't
Nah, but
deserve to
that's not the
be
same. But that's
But
not
that's
the
not.
same, bro.
We're not talking about him.
Cam doesn't deserve to be a
Let's talk
backup
about it.
quarterback, right? That's what
Let's
everybody
talk
here is
about it.
saying. He doesn't deserve the shot to be a backup
Let's
quarterback.
talk about it.
We're not
Carson Wentz
saying that.
last
It's
season.
just Cam is not shooting to be a backup. He's shooting to be a starter. No guy is out here saying I'm better than there's 32 teams quarterbacks better than me, unless he's trying to be a starter. He's talking like he wants to be a
Yo,
starter, and that's the issue. Teams
That's a
don't want
quote.
him for that right
That's
now.
a quote from like a year ago, and I don't know. I don't know what quote he said today that has
He said that
everybody up in
today.
arms. But
He said that today, literally on the his Auburn tape that he just put out. He said that prior to it, there's not 32 teams quarterback better than me right now.
nah,
And
that's
he's
an
just
old quote.
so,
That's an old quote. I
let me
remember that
speak on
quote.
that. No, I never thought I'd come in here and defend Carson Wentz after all what's happened between all of us. But I'll tell you what, I will. Because let me tell you a little about Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz actually, all right, yeah, maybe he blew it for y'all. Yeah, certainly. But
pause.
he was actually serviceable. He was actually a serviceable player for y'all when he played.
Pause.
He started 7 games and he had 11 touchdowns in 7 games. Only 9 interceptions. I'm saying like that's better than 2 touchdowns every 2 games that Cam Newton was producing. I know. So I'm saying at least I say Carson Wentz is still serviceable player in this league. Cam Newton, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's fair to compare Carson Wentz to them. Carson Wentz is 1 year away, maybe. You know, he's from his way out, but that's the thing. Cam Newton's been out for a whole year. So why are we even talking about this man?
so I'm gonna spin off this question because Carson Wentz, Cam Newton, Aaron Rodgers. When does an athlete hang it up? Like when Aaron Donald, like when do you say enough's enough? I need to fade off into, I don't want to call it irrelevancy, but like the background. Like you're not the star you once was. When is it time to like stop latching on to that stardom? At least as a player.
For me, is when
You
you
stop
see a
getting
player
contracts.
greater than you. That
Well,
When
yeah.
you stop getting contracts, meaning no one's willing to pay you for your services, you should hang it up. If you go through an entire NFL season and nobody wants your services, you should hang it up.
I'm just saying in sports in general. I don't want to make this Cam Newton specific. In sports,
For me, is when you see the next greatest thing in front of you. Like when people see Patrick Mahomes, like, damn, I gotta get. When you're already aged out, like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. There's no way in hell I'm gonna keep up with this kid. When you see the next best great thing that's literally play your position, that's when you see, it's not me no more.
so
I mean, I think it
I think it
depends on the
depends.
player. I think it depends on the player. If you have a chance to hit an all time team record, maybe you've been on the same squad for your whole career. Maybe you know you're chasing a number. Maybe you want to solidify your record for down the road, or maybe you just still got the passion to play. I wouldn't call it quits just because you know Patrick Mahomes came and he can do a no look pass and you can't. Like I wouldn't call it quits just based off somebody else's talent. But I would definitely say if you have a severe injury or like you're like in the case of Cam Newton, I can see why someone in that position will fall off. But I'm not gonna come on here and you know tell somebody not to believe in themselves or talk down on someone for being overly confident. But yeah, I would say the injury is a typical way to tell that you're done. And if you know, you're just out there getting clowned. Like my an example, my guy D Hall when he got destroyed in practice by DeAndre Hopkins, like man straight crossed him. Those are the signs, you know, that when you were a top guy and now the top guys are straight embarrassing you, those are the signs that it's time to hang it up.
oh, that's classic moment, man.
So word, he broke the fuck out them ankles. My man said, ah.
So how do we feel about Teddy Bridgewater? I'm gonna throw that out there real quick because he's another black quarterback, free agent. Is anyone going? Does he
I
deserve
mean,
it?
Teddy's gonna get signed, just like Jacoby got signed, just like Tyrod Taylor gets signed. Those aren't guys that have the personalities of a Cam Newton that are overbearing. So I mean, we could say it's not about race, but again, I think it has to do with race plus the certain personalities where they're very hip hop oriented, so to
So
speak.
the
The
guys,
John Morants of the world.
those other guys are company men.
Yeah, you know T, you know the vibe, you know the vibe. The Russ Wilsons of the world.
Okay, I got you. I got you. All right, so G, I'm gonna flip this topic to you. I got a special topic for you, and I got a special one for Rome. Uh, Japan just beat the U.S. in the world the WBC. Otani strikes out Mike Trout 3-2. That's a full count. I mean, it's up to Trout to save America, and
Fucking Trout.
he struck out, man. First, what are your thoughts on that tournament that seems to be a great tournament that doesn't get the the respect it should, and how do you feel about the results?
Personally, I love the tournament. For me, it is getting the result. It's just like it's kind of iffy because it's like baseball's literally around the corner. The MLB's about to start, and like it's hard to try to do this during like when you have the NBA All Star Weekend type of during those kind of months. When you have the NBA full of shit, the end of the NFL season already about to come in the way. Like I personally love this. I love it around this time of the year because you get to see where your favorite baseball players are, how they're looking during this time of the year. Have they been batting? Have they been pitching? Have they been like keeping themselves prepped for the start of this new season? I personally love it because look, it brings the best out of everybody. Like I personally didn't think Mexico would make it this far, but when I started the tournament, I thought Mexico was going to get swept. The first game they played U.S., I think it was 15-5. Mexico came in swinging, and then you start hearing stories about this guy Randy. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he's literally he's from Cuba that left Cuba, came to Mexico, and then asked the Mexican government to make him a citizen so that way he could play for Mexico. And look at my man, literally is a breakout star in Mexico right now. At first, I was opposed because there are dark Mexicans, but then I'm looking at him, bro, but he don't look Mexican. My man looks like Caribbean. He looks different. And then that's when I found out the story today. And the article came up. My man, literally, he left Cuba. And he on his only way to make ends meet was playing baseball. So instead of going to the U.S. route like most Cubans do, he came to the Mexican route. And his first job was playing baseball. And then from there on, got picked up by the MLB team, and then look at him now. Like, and and right before the start of the tournament, you hear about a Nicaraguan pitcher that got signed literally after his first game. Like this is like I love this. I love this for baseball because baseball needs this. Baseball's personally not my top three sports, but just to see like the opportunity that this sports give foreigners, I love it because it's like literally the American dream story from nothing to something where you least expect it. And I personally love it because now you got all of us cheering for our nations. I'm born in the U.S., but shit, watching Mexico, the underdog, go as far as they did, beating countries like Puerto Rico, stuff like that where like baseball rules. I like seeing this shit. Like so for me, like I loved it. I love this brief 2 weeks that we got to watch baseball. It's just like the itch that I couldn't scratch. Until the fucking Yankees fuck me over, pause, come October and fucking September. Oh my God, oh Lord, if you hear me, please, please, Judge,
So,
take me
so,
somewhere.
so,
Pause.
so G. All right, so me as a casual baseball watcher, I wouldn't even call myself a fan. I hear and I see a lot about how the best baseball talent is in the Latin countries, Central America, South America, but I look in the championship, I see Americans versus Japan. So what does that say about Japan, Asian countries in baseball and the United States is baseball? Like if those countries that are producing all this young talent and new up and coming talent, they didn't make it. What does that say about where Japan and America are as baseball teams?
See, we can't sleep on Japan either, because you got to think about it culturally wise. Japan, those players don't play for money, so a lot of they keep their talent pool in Japan, and those are great leagues too. They come to the U.S. for the notoriety now to show out. But and personally, my opinion is just like it's like Latin countries specialize in certain players. You know, you have Latin players are known to be great pitchers. They're known to sometimes be decent hitters, but to get some of the best players, who breeds the best outfielders are Americans because they're longer, they're a lot stronger and stockier. Like, when is the last Latin of catcher? You don't really see too many of those. You do see is a few of them. But for me, it's just like it's it's like each country, each place contributes to the sport. You know what
Okay.
I mean? Like everybody's just a contributor, and that's what
Yeah,
that's what makes baseball so much great.
baseball is actually a lot more popular. I feel like worldwide than it ever was. It used to be, America's pastime and all that, but the popularity's died down a lot here in America. But I think it's still popping in other parts of the world. So I was actually surprised to see the U.S. in the chip. But I got a few things about the World Baseball Classic, and I want you and Scruff to dive in here too. But first, for your Mike Trout point, I think he's overrated. I'm not surprised that he struck out in this moment.
Hey, hey, watch out, man.
I've
That's a
had
Jersey
many
guy
I've had
from
many
Jersey.
baseball debates with some baseball players. I know a couple big baseball fans, a couple dudes that actually made it to the MLB, and I've had big debates about Mike Trout being overrated. He's just not clutch to me. They call him Captain America. Captain America did not get it done in the World Baseball Classic, and that's a big problem for a baseball fan like me. But back to the whole World Baseball Classic as a whole. As a baseball fan, I love it. I love that they did it. I love that they do it. I think it gives you high quality baseball. You got some of the players that play in the MLB saying that they care more about winning the World Baseball Classic than they care about winning the World Series. So some players, for them, playing for their home country, playing with their flag on their chest and all that, that means a lot more than even playing in the actual MLB. So I think that's special. I think it is a little strange though, and as a baseball fan, I do gotta be a little concerned. And this is why I would want to ask you and Scruff. Let's say it was the NBA and they were doing the World Cup or whatever, like before the actual season. Like, how does that play into the season? Because baseball is about to start. And gee, I don't know if you know the dude's name, but somebody did get hurt celebrating in the World Baseball Classic, and he's going to be out for the whole season now.
The
So
pitcher for the Mets.
how would you feel about one of your star players, potentially getting hurt in a non-league tournament, but still a very big and important tournament at the same time?
I mean, I wouldn't like it, to be honest. I wouldn't like it.
So you're telling me like Giannis goes and plays for Greece
Greece.
and he gets injured uh, before the season. Uh,
Yeah, like
the
because this is basically baseball's preseason.
the fan in me would say, uh, cancel the whole league. Like, what are you? You know what I'm saying? The fan in me says. The human in me says it's much more admirable to play for your country. And if the player, right, it's his life. If he decides that he wants to go put on that jersey and that uniform and represent his people, like who am I to say no? But the fan in me that's invested in seeing the Milwaukee Bucks, bro, you better sit out this whatever you want to call this, man. Like, sit it out. Like that winning that chip don't mean nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? But I I don't know. I don't know. I do this though because it's almost like preseason. Does it even count if these guys aren't in midseason form?
So that's the thing.
Mm,
So they
Who's
prepared
the
for this, prior to, and they're already playing hard. So the guys that have been playing are gonna basically come in mid-season form, yeah. While
I
everybody
got a
else is
question.
ramping up.
I got a follow up question, bro. Who was the player that got hurt? What country did he play for?
I can't remember his name. I think he played for Mexico though, didn't he? G?
no, so it was the Puerto Rican pitcher that he got hurt at literally when they were jumping up and down after they beat DR. He's the Mets pitcher, close. He's the Mets relief closer pitcher.
All right, good enough. So he played for Puerto Rico. Or he played for the U.S.
Puerto Rico.
So I would say this: I understand the players' decisions why they want to represent their country. I also say that I'll harp on what G said. G was giving me very like, you know, here's the thing about baseball. Here's my unpopular opinion about baseball. It's America's pastime, everywhere except America. Because like people don't care about that shit that much here. It seems to me that the foreign countries tend to care about it more because of the Americanization of it. It is the great American pastime, woody whoop de whoop. These players in these Latin countries want to come to America. Here's the perfect opportunity for them to come to America. They've pretty much monopolized this shit, and they are the best players. And the Japanese are doing the same shit. They're out here throwing that heat over there in Japan. And these players, these dudes, the Daisuke Matsuzakas, and I don't know whoever the hot Asian pitcher is now, but you know these hot Asian pitcher Otani, you know, who's a two-way player. These guys are talented. They're coming over to the U.S. The foreign market has got advanced on the U.S. players. That's one. Two, the foreign-born players have much more pride in playing for their country and playing this game for their country. It's like, silly Americans, we're better at you than this shit. And now we're going to do it for our country. So honestly, no, I wouldn't be mad. Maybe I'd be mad if I was a Mets fan or some shit. But you know what? If I was that player, I'd say, fuck you, Mets fans. Fuck you and all your little American fans. Y'all don't even really fuck with us like that. I'm going to go ride out with my Boricuas because, you know what I'm saying? That's
My
my
buddies.
family. That's the ones that raised me up. That's my boys. That's my people. They give a fuck about that shit. My grandma's watching. My cousins is watching. They all watching. And ain't nobody watching me out here because nobody gives a fuck because they're too busy because the season's too long and they're too fucking fickle because they don't even really appreciate this shit out here, fucking American pastime. And that's my opinion about it. I wouldn't be mad. I say, go ahead, play for your country, bruh, because these Mets fans don't give a fuck about you.
And his name is Edwin Diaz. Edwin Diaz is the
Yeah,
one who
Edwin
got hurt.
Diaz.
Yeah,
I
but
say
for
what?
me,
Maybe the Mets fans do care, but the large percentage of New Yorkers don't give a fuck about you. So go ahead, bro, play.
you're right. You're right because he don't play for the. For me, as long as the Yankees plays and get hurt, I don't care. Man, fuck every other squad. If anything, fuck the Mets. They can go to the local Frank stand and support them. For all I
I
care.
mean, the Nationals are trash now. I don't know if we had any players even out there, but if Juan Soto would have still been on the Nationals and he would have had this injury, I would have been protesting the entire World Baseball Classic because I don't give a fuck about none of that.
Yo,
Like
Juan
T said,
Soto
the
played
the fan
terrible.
the fan in me would have taken over. Yeah, but like I said, he's not on the Nationals now, so I didn't have no beef with it.
Well, Trey Turner hit a grand slam, a former national.
Yeah, no, Trey Turner, and
Yeah,
I know we don't talk baseball on the show, but the Nationals trading Trey Turner was one of the worst trades in all of sports history. I'm trying to tell you. I said Mike Trout was overrated earlier. I think Trey Turner is a little bit underrated. I think he's one of the best, if not the best players in baseball. Literally does everything that you
one.
need to do well. Base runner crazy, in the field crazy, hits crazy, clutch, unlike Mike Trout. So I mean, we could have the debate, but I think he's top three
It's
in
kind of hard
MLB.
when you hit homers like Mike Trout though, man. I get where you come from as well as like Mike Trout when it's clutch time, he's not there and he hasn't taken his team to the postseason. But it's just like, bro, can you blame him though, bro? He just got help and this. I mean, but it's kind of hard, man, when it's just two players. The Angels suck.
They do so.
Eh, The
But
Angels are basically the Mets of Los Angeles,
but
but 10 times worse.
having another good player or another five good players isn't going to help Mike Trout when it's him and the pitcher and there's two strikes and he needs to get a hit and
Well,
bring somebody home.
arguably, he has help right now, and he was in a big spot.
Yeah,
Like you said, Trey Turner just hit a grand slam. What did Mike Trout do?
yeah, you're right. I mean, but back to this conversation ah, it's like man, I like to see it because you never know what you might find, and on top of that, you got good prospects coming out of there. But you got some of the worst jersey, bro. Like you guys seen British jerseys and like Israel's jersey, those shits was garbage. Straight garbage. And then the Mexico big red jersey, I was like, God damn, they're about to say so whooping them motherfucker. These niggas is scam hanging. What is going on here? I'm not gonna lie, Puerto Rico and DR jersey, yeah. But yo, I ain't gonna lie, Venezuela, Yo, bro, that yellow, I don't like yellow because it looks ugly. I thought Rome had mustard on his shirt today. I'm like, man, you ate a glizzy before coming on, bro? What's going on, man? You got ugly mustard on your shirt.
So I do want to throw in a quick culture topic before we wrap this up. And so this is going to be a surprise for everybody. I don't think we've done a topic like this. Um, and there's no prep involved. Just go with whatever you got. What's the last really, really delicious food you've ate? Like,
Yo, okay. So I went to this fancy little dinner, bruh, and they had like the chef had a special, right? And it was like this popcorn soup, I think he called it. I've never had anything like it, bro. Like the way that the butter blended, or it was popcorn lobster shrimp soup. That's what it was. And the way that the butter blended with the popcorn and the lobster, bro, that was like I've been thinking about it ever since. It's been like 3 weeks, bro. Like I'm definitely about to plan my trip back to that joint, and hopefully when I go, they got that on the menu because it wasn't even one of the things we ordered. They just pulled up like, yo, the chef felt like making this today, and it was like, bro, they put it in this little tiny mason jar, right? And we was all eating it. It was like me, like 5 or 6 other people. All you heard was clank, 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 clank at the end, bro, because that joint was so busting, bro. Like,
was it actual lobster meat in the soup?
yes, bro. The bottom was the lobster part, bro. It was so good, bro. I'm trying to
All
tell
right.
you.
And you said popcorn. They really put popcorn in there?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to tell you. It was popcorn soup. The first couple bites, I was like, okay, it's popcorn, and I could tell there was lobster at the bottom. But the way that it was blended, bro, it was so perfect, bro. Like when they told me what it was, I was, I made the face like popcorn and lobster. But then, bro, when I say it was probably one of the best things I've ever eaten in my life, it was one of the best things I've ever eaten in my life.
So
No, actually, the texture is kind of good. They could go that well together. Actually, it seems.
well, what's the all right? Two questions. Was the popcorn soggy because it was in the soup?
Nah, like, and that's what I mean. I this was like a top restaurant. Like the chef is one of the like a top tier chef, I guess. Because the way that it, like when I say it was like blended perfectly, bruh, like you
It
really got
wasn't
to
a whole
try it.
popcorn, right? It was
Yeah, it
small
wasn't.
pieces.
Yeah, and it was just like because
Okay.
I'm telling you, when they first said it, bro, I was like, this doesn't even make sense. But then, like when I tasted it, it made so much sense.
Oh, you getting money now. You getting
What
money.
if you can remember? What's the name of this place, man? Where can we try this?
I can't remember off the top of my head. Give me a minute. I'll send it out in the group chat.
I
All
got
right,
one
all
for
right.
y'all. I had to Google the name of this place. It's probably not as fancy as Rome. You know me. I'm a good blue collar fella. You feel me? Like you feel me. But I was out in Silver Spring this weekend, and with my shorty, and she put me on this spot called the Four Corners Pub. Nice little neighborhood establishment in Silver Spring, Maryland. Shout out to Four Corners Pub. I had a cream of crab soup. That shit was good as hell, my boy. I'll tell you what, the crab in this area be busting. Although all that dairy kind of fucked me up the next day, but it was good ass soup. I'll tell you that.
So
Worth
Pause.
it.
I was not expecting to get two soups, but hey, good food is good food, man. What about you, G?
The last time I had some food, some good food. Hmm. I really, hmm. I really
Oh, matter
haven't.
of
I
fact,
haven't been out.
I take that back. I take it back. I mean, I'll throw that one in there, but I'll throw something else on there. This Friday, I was out in Philly for a work event, and they took us to Ocean Prime, and I had me a real nice steak. Ribeye, 16 ounce, Oscar style with the truffle butter.
Okay,
You feel me? That shit was good as hell.
y'all boys sound like money over here. Lobster.
Word. I don't. I was about to say like McDonald's Happy Meal. Like yo, that shit was busted. I was high. I ate some good. Ate some fries.
Ribeye.
Damn.
Okay. I guess G, you said you ain't been out nowhere special lately. I guess. Uh,
Nah, baby.
so for me,
Dormant.
you guys are in the company man that I am. For lunch, I head down to Potbelly's, and I always get a sandwich, but I feel like
Yo,
it's worth bringing up, man. The wreck at Potbelly's to me is the greatest cold cut. Well, I guess it's not cold; they run it through the heater, but it's the greatest sandwich you're gonna get. Like hands
what is
down,
it?
I the sandwich better than the wreck. I get it the same way every time. Give me everything. Um, I want the peppers. I want everything. It's just a great sandwich, man. The wreck from Potbelly's.
I'm gonna have to try that. There's a Potbelly around the corner. I had one of that day. Pizza melts the other day. It was pretty good.
Right. Trust me, that wreck is, I don't know, it's something different, man. But yeah, that's it. That's
Nah, somebody was eating Potbellies the other day, man. I need me some Potbellies. But Roses is the name of the place I went to. It's in DC.
okay.
Where? What now? Where?
Let me see
Roses?
that. Yeah, Roses Luxury. It's on 8th Street, Southeast.
On H?
8th.
8th. Okay. I'm about to try that.
Southeast.
Rome City with a pop.
Oh, you told me about this joint. I got it saved already.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
got it saved already.
Damn, y'all boys making money. Damn, I know y'all paying Uncle Sam something back every year. The way y'all talking about, oh, y'all getting cheddar. I mean, I don't get cheddar. Y'all get what's the other ghoul, whatever the fuck they call
Gouda.
that shit.
They
Gouda.
getting
They getting Gouda. They getting that Gouda
He
money.
said Gouda.
They don't get
I'll tell you
cheddar.
one thing.
We
Little
get that smoked
Velveeta.
One,
Gouda. Yeah, all right.
no more crack.
and it's like fast. You know, the money come, the money go, man. That's how I go.
Easy come, easy go, bro. The more you make, the more you spend. I get it. But it's been a great show, man. You know where you can find us, all your socials, Gas Sports Network. You know, follow us individually. I don't know, no IG scruff. So everybody else, you know, you can
Nah,
follow.
I'm back. I'm back.
Oh,
Ask Scruff Line on IG.
that's he
The
back.
lion is back.
You know what I'm
Back
saying?
like Krills.
Find us on the socials. Subscribe and like on YouTube. All of the good stuff, man. Y'all know how we end it, man. Sports for the culture.
Sports for the culture.